Evernorth CEO drops a major bombshell on XRP adoption. This is another proof that a massive XRP supply shock is building under the surface. You should not mistake the lack of price action on the charts. XRP is now trading at $1.40, but it remains very clear that XRP's price does not reflect the value that's being built under the surface. And remember this, price does not mean value. Let's now watch what Evernorth CEO has to say about XRP adoption, and after watching it, I'm gonna break this down for you.
Institutional DeFi is finally ready for prime time. Hi, I'm Ashish Burla. I am the CEO of Evernorth. I've been building in the XRP ecosystem for the last decade, and I've been waiting for the moment where institutions are ready to adopt blockchain. I think of the on-chain economy as bringing traditional finance to the blockchain. So that can be lending markets, that could be payments, that could be trading equities. But bringing them on-chain makes them more efficient, better liquidity, less friction, and more global access. And what Evernorth does is it makes it easy for institutions to bring capital to the entire XRP ecosystem. Evernorth is an XRP digital asset treasury. We're the largest digital asset treasury for XRP out there. We will take the XRP that's in the digital asset treasury and we will deploy it into yield-bearing instruments. So it has an added benefit of helping to grow the XRP DeFi ecosystem. So we want to see more DeFi players come to the XRP ledger, and we'll help by deploying the capital that we have in the treasury into those DeFi products and generate yield. What makes Evernorth unique is that we are going to be active stewards of the XRP ecosystem. And that can be anything from running a validator to helping the DeFi protocols flourish by bringing institutional capital to those protocols. We're going to be actively out there bringing new partners to XRP. We're going to be actively helping them develop their products by bringing institutional capital to those protocols. And we'll be developing specs on the XRP ledger for new kinds of protocols that we want to see flourish to help kickstart the DeFi ecosystem. We're excited about a number of different aspects to DeFi in the XRP ecosystem. Anything that gets users of XRP, institutions, and companies like Evernorth doing more on protocol with their XRP makes a lot of sense. And that could be anything from staking to participating and earning yield off of a DeFi protocol. I've been waiting for this moment around XRP. A lot of different things are aligning that make this a perfect time for launching a product like Evernorth. Number one, there's regulatory clarity around XRP. Number two, the DeFi ecosystem is starting to build around XRP. And then third, with Evernorth, institutional capital is ready to come and bridge into that DeFi ecosystem.
This also puts an end to a lot of misconceptions that XRP is only about cross-border payments. There is a whole DeFi ecosystem that's about to be launched on top of the XRP ledger. Evernorth is a new XRP-focused treasury and capital markets company being built around the idea of institutional XRP accumulation. That's kind of similar to what MicroStrategy did for BTC, with one big difference. XRP has real intrinsic value. Remember, a currency's got to circulate. The whole idea of BTC accumulation by MicroStrategy was all about a store of value. However, there is one big issue: a currency is meant to circulate. And here's the deal: XRP is a real currency, BTC is a failed experiment. So Evernorth is all about a public company that holds XRP into their balance sheets. Instead of retail buying XRP directly, institutions, funds, pensions, and Wall Street investors can gain exposure through equity markets. And here is where XRP supply shock comes into the equation. The more companies adding XRP to their balance sheets, the more supply is going to vanish from exchanges. But unlike BTC, where there is no real supply shock and those companies have been simply adding an asset that has no intrinsic value. And before we get back to the video, I want to ask you a serious question. Are you taking security seriously when it comes down to your cryptocurrency holdings? Or are you leaving your coin sitting in centralized exchanges? With so many bad actors in the crypto space, you can't afford mistakes. self-custody is pivotal for long-term success in the crypto world. And this is exactly why I want to take a minute to share some of my favorite tips when it comes down to security. I'm currently using this one, that's Elipal Titan 2.0. I'm going to put it more close to the camera. This is a solid air-gapped cold wallet. It's one of my favorite devices. This is a solid device built in metal. It's also designed to survive natural disasters. It has no Bluetooth, no internet, no USB. In other words, your cryptocurrencies remain where they should be, offline and on the blockchain. Additionally, I also have the Elipal X card vault. The card is extremely practical and convenient. I always take this around when I am traveling. And finally, you gotta check this out. Elipal seed phrase made of steel. Keeping your seed phrases on paper is definitely not safe. This is made of steel. Right here it says it's fireproof, waterproof, mold-proof, and insect-proof. Can survive extreme conditions, and for you to hold it for a lifetime. On the screen, you will find a discount code for every single one of Elipal products. That's a 10% discount code. You can pause the video and just copy it out and use on the website. And you can also find the link for Elipal products in the description of this video. And now let's get back to the video. You will now have hundreds of private companies adding XRP to their balance sheets. But here is what everyone's missing out. It's not only going to be private companies. To participate in the new financial system, governments, central banks, and monetary authorities all gonna have to hold XRP into their balance sheets. Not because they want to make an investment, but simply because it will be a necessity. Replacing nostro-vostro accounts, the pre-funded accounts as we know today. Central banks need to hold foreign currencies in order to perform in the current financial system. Just that instead of holding euros, pesos, dollars, Turkish liras, or Russian rubles, this process will be oversimplified. That's XRP role, facilitate global settlements, a neutral bridge currency. So despite the cross-border payments, there will be a whole DeFi ecosystem that's built on top of the XRP ledger. In this ecosystem, XRP is a collateral. Every transaction burns a small fraction of XRP. And basically, to become an active participant on this system, every wallet's going to have to hold a certain amount of XRP. So there is indeed a high chance that in the future, people are going to be holding fractions of XRP. Instead of holding one entire XRP, millions of people are going to hold XRP drops. Because to participate in the new global financial system, even though you might not be transacting directly on XRP, in other words, those people will be transacting on the XRP ledger without fully transacting with XRP. This means you're going to have layer 2 protocols built on top of XRP, just like stablecoins is a great example. Millions of people will be transacting on the XRP ledger without owning one entire XRP. So if you hold 100, 1,000, or 10,000 XRP, this means you are in a privileged position. Most people will never own more than one XRP. This means there will be a perpetual demand for XRP. This translates to more scarcity. Layer 2 protocols built on top of the XRP ledger will require XRP. Every transaction burns a small fraction of XRP, and even to send stablecoins from A to B, it also requires a fraction of XRP to the wallet reserves. Over time, validators can both increase or decrease the amount of XRP that must be held by each individual wallet. But here's the reality. There will be a perpetual demand for XRP. And this is exactly the reason why there is a massive XRP supply shock. At this point, all I can say is that it's inevitable. Exchanges will be running low on XRP. This is exactly why I don't take chances. I don't trade XRP. I don't sell my XRP. I am perpetually buying more and more XRP. I don't really care the prices. I don't measure XRP's value in dollars. I only pay attention to XRP's utility. Thank you, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments. Are you bullish about XRP adoption? And if you want to trade crypto without KYC, I'm going to drop a link in the description of this video for BitUnix Exchange. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video.